I have a friend who likes to say that if you need to raise 10 million shillings quickly, your first 3 phone calls should give you that. If not, Manuela is counting. Anyway. Social networks and social capital. Are you part of any social networks, by the way?
For me, the one I've had is that that's just another pool for you to get another partner.
Oh! There's a lot of emphasis on social cohesion than on the business part of it. A lot. That's what I've seen.
You've not been to BNI.
What kind of investments do we need to make to grow social capital to that level?
May I just see the contributions I've been receiving from friends?
Happy Friday. It's such a wonderful day to be here. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day and a good time as you're watching. Invite your friends, invite your family, share, like, comment. We're happy to be here and we hope you're happy. I hope you have a drink next to you, a glass of juice, wine, tea, whatever it is, and are sitting comfortably because this is going to be a very good ride for you. Ladies, how are you doing today?
Fabulous. You know, it's always nice when we meet together and talk about like a particular issue because of how different we are. It's just nice to hear the differences. So every time we're coming to record, I just enjoy it. I just be like, oh my gosh, Pamplam is coming. We're going to record. So
energy. Nice. I mentioned it before. My sister had a concert, and I'll say it again. I met many of your friends. Hamis was there. It was beautiful. He was in school with my sister. I met Tina Browse. She was applying makeup on one of the vocalists. It was beautiful to meet people. I met one of the former hosts who was at the hotel for another event. It was quite a great day. Of course, it was beautiful. I've talked about how spectacular the evening was, the guests, people from the Royal Kingdom. But most importantly, you people, I was a part of something special. Knowing anything wonderful cannot be done on your own. And when everyone puts in their best, it really does. It was that. Everyone felt what a great team we are. You know, everyone celebrated one another. Then the way you played the drums, the way you did this, that's what made it special. Because I'm telling you, everyone put in their best. It was wonderful.
Mine was on the other side, unfortunately. It was sad, actually. But I saw that same thing that you're saying, where everybody puts in. Everyone has something that they do. The little boy that I write about in my book, Stop Listening to Your Child thing, Caleb, actually, unfortunately passed away. So he passed away, and he's been battling cancer for like the last, I don't know how many years. And the couple, so he was orphaned as a child, left for death, literally. But then they picked him up from Tororo. Picked him up, took him to the States, and treated him like a prince. Like he had the life that I just keep thinking, God, thank you. Like, how can you love someone so deep in Tororo that you take them away from that situation, let them see a good life? Like, that boy lived, I mean, he's met like every actor in Hollywood, like, for a boy deep down in Tororo, that was something that was not going to happen. And it looks like from the time they got him, he was probably already unwell. But they didn't know, because they only found out a few years, and it was already at stage 4. They took him to the best hospitals. He's been under surgery, all of that. And one day they called us and said his light has burned out. He's gone. So we were away for burial. Well, burial. His remains were brought. And he. Do you know that when you come in, even with the ashes of a body, right? You have to bring the passport here. You have to bring the passport.
I think that's for the ones who declare. I can imagine how many people come in with them undeclared.
I don't know.
Like ashes of the person.
Ashes of, and you don't declare. What if it pours in your suitcase?
So where do you keep the urn? As of course, as hand luggage, so you come with it.
Also, they carried it.
Yeah, so it has to go with a passport.
And
so
maybe
they
it should be
brought- they
labeled
brought-
fragile urn, don't you think?
I think
Because
so.
it,
Yeah.
It's in a pot.
it's fragile.
Yeah.
Yes, it has to be fragile.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
man.
yeah, so we just went through this beautiful ceremony. Everybody pulled in their weight, how to get them through to through the airport, how to just that whole, then how to travel. We all had to travel back and just lay him to rest. And so it was sad, but also very beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. These are people who didn't know him, didn't give birth to
yes.
him, but they honored him. It was just really
How old was
really
he then? How
beautiful.
old was
He passed away at 13. They picked 14 actually.
How old was he when they picked him from Toro?
They actually thought he was 3 years old, but he was 6.
Oh, so it was really
He
malnourished.
was so malnourished, so stunted.
Yes.
I shared that story. You guys, if you've not read Stop Listening to Your Child, think I don't understand, because it was even edited by her, so, and she has good English. So all the English is in that book. But yeah, so that was my week. It was nosedive. Sorry for taking you there.
No,
I know.
That's something important you had to share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also to learn, you know.
Yes. My week, on the other hand, is good. 3 of the children are back home for their holidays.
Oh, yes. It's
So
that
the
time.
house is warm.
4 left to come back.
We have,
You have 4 more coming back.
actually no, 4 of them are now home. Yes, Auntie one finished uni,
Oh,
so she's
okay.
not here on holiday.
Okay,
she's
yeah,
back for
she's-
good.
yeah.
Yeah. So 4 of them are back. We have people to send. We have more hands to do. But it's nice. Every
Yeah.
evening you go back and there's a story and there's people waiting to talk to you.
Yeah.
It really is nice. So the house is warm
Aw.
and nice. Yes.
Oh, nice.
But speaking of help and teamwork
Yes.
and things that this week we're discussing social capital
Yeah.
and social networks. The social networks is really just about relationships, a group of people together, personal relationships. They could have a common goal or they could not. Some of them could be church, like in the church
The
choir.
religious
That's really,
networks.
yes,
Yeah.
there's religious networks. Then there's things like Rotary. Then people who come together, the Lions Club as well.
Yeah.
And then the social networks. Social networks are more, and the social capital, that's more intentional.
Okay.
We are a group of people with the same values,
Okay.
shared resources, and more intentional interactions and helping. So what you described was really social capital.
Okay. Yeah. I
Yes,
get that.
yes.
I get that.
We've got lots of those in Kampala. I think each of us really
Yes.
have had an experience at all. We're going to talk about it a little bit more as we continue. But on the fun side of things, what gets you out of bed every morning?
Depends on what day of the week.
What you?
If it's a weekday for school, I like to get up, prepare the breakfast, and make sure everything's in order before they go to school. A weekend, it's all about me first. How am I going to go for my long walk? Am I going to go on the laptop? Because I allow myself to watch a movie at 7 in the morning, by the way. On a
that's
Saturday,
nice.
I do.
Yeah,
I do. And
yeah.
got a lineup of them
There's
to
nothing
watch.
about it's too early.
No, it's too. It's a Saturday. Saturday is my day of liberty. You should see. Saturday is my day where I really let. There are no
Let
rules.
go.
There are no rules.
Yeah, I love
There
that.
are no rules.
Yeah.
I really, if there's birthday cake, I'll have it at 8 a.m. If there is, that's who I am on a Saturday.
Oh, wow.
Binge. If I don't have work to do, or a meeting or an event, but really, it's my day for resting and indulging. It depends on the day of the week.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about Saturday because I know freedom to do anything. Yes. Yes.
For me, it's my son's light in his room. Blake wakes up so early. It's so painful.
Oh.
You hear his alarm, because he tells you his alarm goes off at 4 a.m. I was like, oh my God, I need to get up. By the time my son is awake, you the mother would. While I'm saying it's Blake's light, I think it's Shem that wakes me up. Shem gets me out of the bed and I'm just like, no. I know what's interesting. He wakes up, dresses up, goes back to bed.
Hey, he's those people of when the call comes for, let's go. He just jumps out of his bed.
Oh, yes.
Time for school. Puts on your shoes, out. He doesn't want to be caught unaware. Yeah, he dresses up, has breakfast, sleeps again, covers himself very well. Not in the bed sheets, but with like a blanket right here in the sitting room.
And dozes off again.
Yeah.
In the Kulambira neighborhood,
What year?
is he called a sheikh?
Oh!
Yeah.
It's between 5 and 5:30. I think it's 5:30 actually.
Yeah.
On the dot,
Like,
and it's so loud. It's like he's standing in our bedroom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Telling you wake up.
That's our alarm clock. We're like, okay,
Time to.
it is morning. Yes. But what actually gets me to get out of bed is luxury.
You.
I want to live a life of luxury.
Eh.
So anything I do, every morning I'm like, what can I do to walk towards
that?
Yes, I like nice things. I like a good life.
Yeah.
But I also now know that it's not going to just fall from heaven.
Yeah,
So
it's
for
true.
me, it really, luxury is what gets me
Then
to get out of my bed.
Mine that's similar to yours is running away from poverty. I used to fear poverty. Now that I'm like, poverty, I can actually run. If I do this, and this, I have very high chances of running away from you. That's what makes me
Get out
now.
of
Okay,
bed.
yes, there's a shame of Blake and everything. I get that, but the one of poverty,
It gets you out of bed.
Out.
What's that verse that says, sleep, and when you sleep in Proverbs, and then poverty will creep on you.
A little sleep, a little
slumber.
yeah, and a little folding of the hands.
And then poverty will creep on you like a thief.
Yeah.
Social networks and social capital.
Yeah.
The social networks, we have so many in Kampala. Ugandans are very social
Yes.
people.
Yes, we
so
are.
we've got cliques, groups, associations, and all. There's so many social networks. What are those stories, those things you've had? What's your impression of social networks, and what have you heard about them in Kampala? Are you part of any social networks, by the way?
If you say
When you-
no.
I am. Toastmasters would be one.
It is.
Yes, and then I suppose the women at church.
Yeah.
That's a
Yes.
network.
That's
I'll
what
start with
mothers-
Don't you have poetry association or something? Like,
There is poetry association, but I'm really Toastmasters one that comes to light because I was in a meeting.
Yes, and it's intentional
Recently,
about
it's intentional,
people,
yes.
relationships, and yes.
And I joined it because I wanted to professionalize my public speaking.
Yes.
That's a network of people whose journey is in communication and leadership. And that was my journey at the time. I was heavily active for 7 years. It was beautiful. It's because of that I started a public speaking training company.
Yeah.
Because I invited people to Toastmasters. They said, we don't have the time. The schedules are different. You train us. I started organically from Toastmasters training. And those who have time, I send them back. They're like, we want the one-on-one coaching that you provide. That's how it started. So the social network grew from a realization. It filled a gap in my life. Then I, in turn, filled a gap in other people's lives,
Yeah.
which is now profit-making for me.
But what's your impression
Yes.
of them? When
Social networks?
you hear
Me, I'll tell you. And I think
Sometimes-
she's not in UG.
Okay.
Let me come.
Sometimes they're overdone, okay.
Okay. For me, the one I've had
Yes.
is that that's just another pool for you to get another partner.
Oh,
I've had so many, like there's one that I really wanted to enter. Are we allowed to say these places? Oh, we are not.
because you're not pointing a finger.
Yeah,
we're
it's
just
just what
saying, what
we
have you
have.
had, and what do you
It could
think?
affect people. But a while back, do you remember World Ventures, the one that was about?
oh,
Yes.
Manuela and your people who said, come and have
I remember
lunch
World
and we
Ventures,
talk.
the girls always seem so cool.
Yeah.
Such,
And they were so cool.
they're traveling the world.
Santorini.
They're living our dreams.
Santorini.
Yes.
Thank you. So I remember coming and telling Brian, oh, babe, there's World Ventures. It's like, isn't that the place where people get new husbands? I'm like,
Oh,
wow,
no.
Brian.
Are you searching? Basically, he was saying, are you searching?
I'm like, really? I tried to explain to him. I was like, I don't know. I've not had good things. But I did only hear it from him. Every time I would go to someone and say, oh, by the way, there's World Ventures. They're like, you. I'm like, guys, I've been there. No one is trying to pass. And I did go. Yeah, I didn't listen to my husband. That was the time we're not okay. But anyway, I did go. But the truth was, like, even when we did travel, the one, okay, I wasn't seeing anything personally. I wasn't.
You didn't see any potential husbands?
No, really, Barbara. No, I just
for you.
Barbara, I wasn't seeing anybody who was with their friend yet they were married like that. Yeah, but I did hear that there were some men who were like, my wife went. That was the end. I'm like.
It's the first time I'm hearing it though.
I heard it from another organization of social networks, not from World Ventures. Your question is, have we heard of them?
What have you heard?
What have you heard about them? What's being said about them?
My experience with Toastmasters was intentional. It really did improve on my speaking, like everyone else's who was there. Before you join certain networks, because networking is different. Some people think networking is, oh, we're the same. It will build my business profile. That's the first thing you hear about. When you go in, it's more social than business. Many of them, probably the name social networks. It's really social. And I believe that many times you can see that the agenda of the business carries 20% sometimes, and 80% is the social capacity. That's what I've seen in many Ugandan circles in these networks. And often there's a lot of emphasis on social cohesion than on the business part of it. A lot. That's what I've seen.
You've not been to BNI.
Because BNI is specifically a business network. It is not social.
Business.
It is business. It's a business network. It's not even part of the ones that we're discussing.
Yes.
It is business network.
Oh,
so for them, it's getting to the
premised
room.
on.
But you build relationships there. It's a bit hard to have adults together and you don't get friendships, relationships, and everything. But BNI is very intentional about growing each other's businesses. Yeah. The rest of them, it's really let's socialize. While we socialize,
let's also do business.
But also that depends on your skills, your socializing skills. Do you come every time and you're just having a beer and laughing at it? Or every time you come, do you remind people that, by the way, I'm an event planner? So it's how good you work your networks. My impression of them is that they're almost cultic. You guys, when you find someone part of a social network, it's like a cult. If we're meeting every Thursday, nothing else happens on that Thursday evening. I'm sure that's what it was for Toastmasters as well. People get so involved and so in love.
And there are so many rules. Like Toastmasters, I remember when I went, you
invited
me. You invited me and interview. I was like, everybody, and of course, me as a guest, I could be as I wanted, but everybody, there were rules. I was like,
there's an order of the way the meetings go, an agenda, and all. Yes.
So I hear you on that.
Good things have come out of them. I was part of Rotary for so many years. Good projects came.
Rotary.
Yes, a lot of charity work happens. Growth of the individuals. You grow because you get to meet people that you would not meet anywhere else.
That's true.
Yes, we had the Deputy Governor of Bank of Uganda, part of our network. We had business owners, MDs and EDs of so many organizations, Uganda electricity distribution, things like that. So because you're interacting with them a lot, you grow. They'll give you ideas. They'll say, you're still young. Let me show you how business happens. But then again, that comes back to how intentional you are. So mine is really, it's like cultic. And then, and it's so annoying for everybody around them because once there's a Rotary engagement or activity, we're sorry. Nothing else counts.
That's true.
I'm sorry, guys, but number 2 is supposed to be in the order.
We've heard this often, haven't we?
Which one?
Your network is your net worth. Do you believe it's true? And how do you think networks benefit people? Your network is your net worth. Maybe start by defining if you're able to.
What that means for me is that the person that I know, so let's say, for example, you are in my network as Beverly, okay? What do? You do professional speaking training. You are in my network, okay? Personally, if I'm asked to go and say, for example, let me go with my book. Public speaking, I say public speaking. When I say that I'm going to have a speaking engagement and I come to you because I need help on writing my speech, okay? You have given me a skill that I don't have, that which then I can use in public. And what I don't know how much money I'm going to get out of this public that has listened to me speak using a speech that was given to me by someone in my network.
All right.
So how much I have gotten, for me, that is part of my there's worth, like there's a financial gain from being in my network. You're in my network as an event manager, okay? If I didn't have you, I don't know how APPG would be running, but APPG gives me an X amount of money every year, which contributes to my actual net worth, okay? Otherwise, it could be a bad event, and I don't have people coming to the event. But because she's in my network, I get a certain profit every year over that. You're in my network, you're a book editor, you edited my book, I sold over 1,000 copies. That gave me a certain profit that contributed to my net worth. So for me, it's very literal. My network is my net worth.
Yep. That's true. And people say this often. I have a question now. That how intentional should we be when we're networking? Because I find the challenge of go and network, giving out business cards. I find that's a problem. I believe that when you build relationships over time, it really helps a lot. For example, the person whose book I'm writing, we've been friends for 20 years. Only recently when I started training his children, I then proposed the idea of writing his book because of what he's achieved. What a magnificent, phenomenal milestone as a doctor and amongst other things. And that's why he trusted the journey of, and it's so foundational because I started discovering I needed to write about people's lives last year. So even then, it's taken a few months before it actually materialized, you see. But 20 years where without a doubt, because he's the person who would entrust someone into such deep detail, because it's a personal, you people, when you're writing someone's biography, please know you're telling them, here's my diary, read it. There must be trust. I cannot overemphasize how much trust you must have with the person writing your book if you decide to, or anyone writing your life story documentary. It's so personal. I've got to know so many personal things, but we exchange a lot. And I say, I've met this person now I've met your friend, now I've met, and they share things I don't even think he knew they would share with me, all right, but we exchange quite a bit. There must be a lot of trust. You can't gain that trust by being in the same organization for a year.
Or just because you've exchanged.
Or just because you've exchanged. Or because you're in Toastmasters for 6 months and you happen to feed off each other's great energy in speaking. It's
trust
built.
Is really important. It's built.
And I want to understand that because this network is more... It started socially, well, we're in class together studying French 20 years ago, but then it built socially. And we didn't even meet. We met like after 10 years. Oui, je parle un peu. And so what happened is that
people who know French, tell us what they said.
So we met maybe after a decade, and then after another decade. But the trust had been built foundationally. I need to understand then, because he's not in my daily network, but he is in this. So I think there's circles of networks. There are those ones I see every day, all right? Maybe if I worked in an office every day, and then there, which I may not be intentional with. And then there are those in the wider circle you may not see a lot, but then they're instrumental in that regard. So
trust is really important, but to build trust, one, you have to have shown the person that you care about them.
That's true,
So with the networking, there's the hunter and there's the farmer. The hunter comes into the space and says, I am here to grow my business, I am here. So they'll be intentional about handing out their business. Every time they speak to you, they say, Bev, so you remember I'm an event planner. So they're literally pushing it down your face. The farmer will come in and ask, so Bev, How's your business?
Cultivate.
Tell me about your
relationship.
family. They'll know about your family,
Yes.
about your life, about everything else you do. And then they'll even give you ideas for your business. You know, if you did this, that would help. You build trust, but then you realize that this person is not just here to benefit.
They're cultivating something
They're
real.
cultivating. Then the relationship is built.
Yes.
From that relationship, then the person can say, you can now write my book.
That's,
yes.
that is so true.
Yes, because now
And
they
I
trust
prefer
you.
that. I prefer that. But these
So
people
you're
who...
a farmer.
Yes.
Yes, I think the people who've benefited most from the social networks, because the people who've been part of networks for 20 years, and they'll say, me, by the way, in Rotary, I've never got any business. Then there are some who get business consistently. So they've built trust, they're intentional relationships, and they've shown that they're not just here for themselves. They're here to help actually other people. In the process of that helping, they also get referred.
Their relations.
So for me, the one that I feel like that is very important also is chemistry. I think people underestimate the power of chemistry. So yes, you're building a relationship, yes, you're building trust, but there's something like when the chemistry clocks. Let me tell you guys a story. You remember for my book launch, we had the acting US ambassador come for my... Now let me tell you how that happened. We went to a networking event together, and I so happened to... Because those networking events would have people... Here it's my card. Every time you enter a space, someone is
pushing something down your throat.
Pushing. And I was exhausted. I was networking exhausted. If that is that term there? It exists. It should. If it doesn't, please tell them to put it in the dictionary.
I tell who?
I don't know.
Your English friends.
I was really exhausted,
and
I remember taking off, going. I looked around, and there was a particular table at the end that had no one. I stealthily went to that table. It was in the dark, on the darkest side, in the corner at the back. Me, Manuela Mulondo, removed my shoes.
Wow.
So I now, of course, because of that, I was even much shorter than the table. Like the table was like, I was happy to be hidden. Nicely waited just on my own and breathed. 2 minutes later, I see someone next to me.
Shoes also off?
Shoes also off. She's like, oh my God, did you come to remove it? I said, yes, I needed a break from everyone. She's like, me too. We're just like, how many kids do you have? I have 2. And what you should have seen us talking to each other. We're like, you know those kids who are in the wrong place? That's how we were. I know I have 2 children. One is this age. Our children were exactly the same age, same sexes. We're like, let's have play dates. We started having play dates. I had no expectation of her. She had no expectation of me, because she was just like, every time they see that you're white, they see dollars.
What can we get
dollar signs. What can we get out? And then now that you work at the American Embassy, even more dollar signs.
Visa.
So we just had such a beautiful, beautiful relationship. She had no idea that 2 years later, she would be the acting US ambassador.
Oh, wow.
Now, not just a relationship, but we had a certain chemistry. So chemistry, I think, is also very, very important. Because there are people who you see, they are relating with you, but they are just waiting for the moment
to make their request.
For you to keep quiet so I can... They're pretending, So you really do that. Feigned interest.
There is feigned interest.
But from your hiding story, I now know that really some characteristics, some people really don't thrive in the social networks. If you're an introvert, you will struggle. The extroverts have a good time. They're able to, come, mix, speak to people, get contacts, come back home, have a story. Do you know, Manuela, this happened, Manuela, this happened in Bev's life. The introverts are there because they feel they will benefit, but it's a tough experience for them. So extroverts really thrive in the social networks. They're not for everyone.
So you're talking about the extrovert who was hiding.
You know, some people are
no, it was
introverted extroverts.
No, it was just that day.
It was one of those days.
It was one of those days.
Sometimes you need to hide. Sometimes you need to hide.
One of those days.
Introverts, though, they're really good with one-on-one conversation.
Yes, they are.
And maybe because of the journey I took in my profession, but some people will say, this person doesn't talk. I don't know how you'll make them talk. Train them in public speaking. And for 2 hours, we haven't even started training. We're just talking. maybe because they just needed someone who will listen.
And you always say that public
Yes.
speaking starts with listening.
Listening,
Yeah.
just listen. Don't talk and give your ideas. Listen. I used to have one template for all trainees until I said it's not working.
Yeah.
Some people just want you to listen,
Yeah.
and then the next session you'll start.
Yeah.
And that's what many of them need. There was someone, and this was really sad. There were 2 boys I was training, young learners, young adults. Zoom had just started, we were navigating Zoom.
Yeah.
When I would say, take on this task, come back after a few minutes, sometimes I'd wait at the computer, or sometimes I'd take water, come back, and I'd tell people the video's on, you can go, come back afterwards. The father had come in the room and he was yelling at them. I was saying, the video's on, it's on, it's on, switching off, all right? And he was screaming, what's wrong with you? This lady has come, she's giving so much time, speaking eloquently, and you're not doing anything. I've heard you, she's asking you questions, you're not screaming and screaming. Now, one of them said that he used to have terrible, terrible headaches. No wonder. And he had opened up to me and said, people in my family think I'm unfriendly, but the truth is these headaches I just want to crawl in bed in the dark. I don't socialize much, I don't, because they manifest at times when I'm not aware. There are family around, I just can't be in the bright light. Noise makes it worse. And I said, do these parents know that that's why he has these headaches? And that the shouting actually makes it worse. That's why listening is so important. Maybe he tried to tell them and they said, headache? Headache what? You're just unfriendly. And oh my goodness. Yeah. So that's why.
Now this sadness doesn't
Oh,
make me so
sorry.
sad.
Again, 'cause you're feeling sorry for that child.
For the
Yes,
boy.
because
But also
I
you see
did.
toxic parenting, and you're just there like,
No, it
when I
really
was
was.
shouting. Yeah.
Networks really benefit our lives and
Right.
change. Being part of Rotary, I got the opportunity to interact with people I would not have met on the street.
Yeah.
Yes, like I said, there was the deputy governor of Bank of Uganda, and then you're sitting on a table around and jokes and what. So when you need something to quickly go through, and because I've organized corporate events, there are times we needed sponsorships. So I got sponsorships from EDs of organizations I would never have made. So after our meeting, walked up to him and said, look, we have an event on the dairy value chain in East Africa. I think you guys can sponsor, you'd benefit like this, we give you a platform. He says, no, tomorrow come to my office. There are times I went to people's offices, even me, I can't believe, you just walk to the secretary or the receptionist and say, I am here to see Mr. Seika Tongole. And they look at you. And do you have an appointment? Yes. What's your name? Barbara.
Barbara who? No, just say Barbara.
Just say Barbara from Rotary. He met me yesterday. Then they call. Hello? Now they're calling his PA. Please tell Mr. Katongole there's Barbara here. And then he walks out of his office and picks you personally from the reception. It happened to me. Let me tell you. The way you pass the receptionist, the smile you give when you're passing her. And of course, I got sponsorships. I got people to come to events. I got speakers to come to events and all that. I mean, my paycheck was coming in very steadily. So your network is actually your net worth. Another thing you benefit is you get good ideas from the networks.
Yeah.
That particular one, we had ladies in their 50s and then we are here in our 30s and 20s, and they actually sit with you and say, when I was your age, I made these mistakes in terms of money. Focus here, don't have your place everywhere. The money I'm enjoying now in my 50s, I made in my 30s.
Wow.
So you've got to give everything you have now, because when you have less energy, you're just reaping. Can you invest? They're asking questions like, so where have you invested? What? Move from there, put some money here. So you see how your network grows. But that also depends on how relational you are and how much of a farmer you are and not a hunter.
I get you.
Also, the work you built over the years. For example, the work in poetry has given me so many opportunities to travel, because sometimes all I do is introduce myself and say, this is who I am, this is my body of work, I understand you're running this, I would love to attend. All right, I'll read your work. And they're not reading, they're asking around. Have you heard of this? Oh yes, in the arts world, they ask around. They ask. You must be, especially because the people I ask are high profile, they must maintain their brand. They ask. By the time they say, all right, here's an invitation, we've seen your work. They have not seen the work. They have asked.
They've done due
They have
diligence.
asked.
Yes.
Oh yes, they
I've never
must.
thought
Oh,
about
they
that.
must. They have to. Have you heard of this? The organization? How much? And because the work is over a decade, it speaks more. They may not trust work of only 2 years, 3 years. 15 years, they will trust. Not just 15 years doing the same thing. 15 years
Consistent
establishing
and
yourself and growing around the continent. Publishing work, being in important media houses from the US, UK, then now we do.
So that
You
means
see.
you also
Yes.
have to build so many networks down
Yes,
here.
within, so that
within-
it builds,
So
yes.
that when they say, do you know? They're like, oh
Yes.
yeah, Beth.
Yes.
Bev,
So
yeah.
while you want that one, first start.
With
and
this one.
there are several people where somebody says, Beverley, your name was mentioned. They know you. I said, yes, we've known each other for quite a while. What? And
Nice.
by then, you see what I mean? But they don't know me because they know me. They know me through my work.
Yeah.
It's not just I came and I gave such an impressive speech one day, and I had a wonderfully designed business
Yeah,
card.
one day.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it wasn't a wonderfully designed business card.
Yeah.
The journey has
Right.
begun,
Yeah.
and the journey will continue.
Yeah.
And that's what I like
What
about
I-
the network. Yes.
What I hear you say is that even within the networks, you must have a good reputation.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Of
it's not
course.
just enough to just be part of the network.
Yes.
What is your reputation?
Yes.
Right.
Are you known for consistency? Do you deliver?
What are you known for?
What
Yes.
are you, actually, what are you known for?
Because they may say, I want Beverley to serve as an MC. Beverley, first of all, she'll come 5 hours late. She will, you see,
She'll come, the
if
Habra
they
is
know you-
showing.
if they know you for those things,
Yes. You want
they
to get
will,
that.
yes, you will not. And also, they say, but she says she's a speaker, I'm not sure.
Yeah, and
Does
you know
she-
what? To be
you
honest,
see?
I feel like in so many ways that's a downside of social networks.
Oh,
Is
yes.
that you're not allowed to journey.
Yes.
Someone's first experience of
Oh.
you becomes the industry experience of you. If you no, let me say it properly. The worst experience of you becomes the industry experience of you. Let me give you an example.
don't have a chance
if
to,
you
like,
came
do
home-
over?
Yes, no. If you've
I'm
been
sure.
coming early, then one day you come so late.
Yes.
The way bad news travels so
Yes.
fast and sticks so
Yeah.
so much. They'll be like, hey, Beverly, she comes late. They're like, hey, Bambi, I thought she used to come early. Hey, so for my event,
The
she used
other
to come
day.
early.
One
Ah,
day.
But that
One day. Is that only day they talk
is
about?
the only day they talk about, which is normal. It happens to all of us.
Yes.
One person is so wonderful, she makes one mistake. That's it. She's finished for that one mistake. So that's the one thing I fear about social networks. So while you're talking about reputation,
Oh.
I'm just going like, oh my God, that's
You
so
can
important.
ruin it.
But there's a need for consistency
Be
on that
consistent.
reputation.
And also have people who will speak for you.
Yeah.
If you did make a mistake, someone will say, no, I
Shit,
can speak
yeah,
for
it
her and
was
vouch for
once,
her.
guys. Yes, let's let it
Have
pass.
people who can speak for you
Yeah.
and make sure that someone is there.
Yeah.
What do they say? They say it towards women that have a woman who can speak for you in a room full of opportunities. I see it. Does that mean anyone? I think it means anyone, but I don't know why I see it in reference to women.
Because you love women.
Yes, but also I've seen it in women's groups, I think.
Yeah, but it's
A woman who will speak for you in a room full of opportunities. Anyway,
We
but
all
what
need
they're
somebody.
saying, what they're saying
Yeah.
is, people can vouch for you and say, no,
Yeah.
no, she's not consistently, or something like that. Or
Yeah.
So earlier you'd kind of started to tell us the difference between social networks and social capital. And obviously social capital comes from social networks, which is really just a smaller group of individuals. And you have shared resources, you have shared values. It's like a repetition of yourself, for lack of a better word, right? So when it comes to a social capital being an advantage of social networks, do you have any experience where your social capital, the smaller group from the network, has rescued you, like you as an individual who has come to your aid when you just needed them?
Yeah.
recently, actually, it was interesting. I receive financial resources from a certain account, which is officially for poetry. And it's been the official poetry account for how many years? 15 years now.
This is for Baby Shai.
Yes, for Baby Shai. We received funding recently. However, because I abbreviated the name Babisha instead of the full name, the funding did not arrive in a timely manner, to put it politely. Because I've received funding before while abbreviating, but then I realized, no, that was internally within Uganda. Outside Uganda, all was right, the full. And so I thought, just that. Now, usually when there's an error, maybe a digit was wrong when you're putting the account number, it can take 2 weeks maximum to rectify. The money will always come. Because there has been an error before. Someone gave a wrong account number from Nigeria, but it took 2 weeks to return it. This one took longer than usual. I went back, the time stretched from 1 week to another week, and another, and another, until I thought, this is quite interesting now. There was other work going on, so much other work that I was doing, and so I had income anyway. I was doing this work, but I thought, what is wrong with this funding? It was only until I reached the highest governing authority of finances in Uganda that the process was quickened. And how did I do that? Sent a message to somebody I was with. This is happening. Call this person, call this person, call this person. Write to this one. Within 5 minutes of receiving the letter, this person who has such a huge position, commands respect because of his position, received it and called me. Are you Beverley? I understand this. That very day, everything was quickened. Some that had taken 6 weeks, and then the process after that fell in place.
Wow.
But actually, it was after that call that things quickened. It had taken 6 weeks of going from one manager to another until this is beyond manager.
Yeah.
This is beyond angels.
It was
This is
beyond
now
their pay
God.
grade.
It was literally. I had gone to managers, no. Go to the highest governing authority of finances in this country, who called within 5 minutes of receiving the letter.
Oh, wow.
And it was quickened. Yes, that's because somebody said, you just need to do this. And
Someone in
clearly,
the social capital.
someone within the social, and clearly, word had already gone round, you will get a letter. You will receive it soon. Yes.
I have a friend who likes to say that if you need to raise 10 million shillings quickly, and you need to make more than 5 phone calls, change.
Less than 5.
More than 5. You should be able to
yes.
raise that amount of money within your first.
5.
calls.
If you cannot change, you need to change your circle or your
How much do they? 100 million?
No, just 10.
10 million, okay.
10 should
So
come.
everyone should have 2
So he
million
says,
at
Barbara,
least.
10 million should come from 3 people. Your first 3 phone calls should give you that. If not, Manuela is counting. Anyway. My most recent story, I think, is the Kwanjula in February this year. We didn't have much time to organize it. And yet, being an event planner, there's a certain level below which I could not come.
Yes.
People knew that coming for an event planner's Kwanjula.
Yes.
They're expecting the best. So, of course, the budget was big. My mom said, now, when I showed her, she said, no, we're going to have meetings. I said, also, my age does not allow me to have meetings.
Your age.
All right.
No, you guys. 25-year-olds can't be having meetings. And then you're in your 40s. No. Fundraising meetings that you have, what are they called? Auctions, what? First of all, the people in my social capital don't even have that time.
Yeah.
They don't have that time to sit in meetings every week, to raise money.
Every week, yes.
Yes, they don't. So I said, Mommy, no, we can't. She said, but where is this money going to come from? If people don't see the budget, they don't come, and every week we're trying. I said, it's going to come. So there were no meetings. I don't even think you even saw my budget. I didn't share it with so many people or anything. But the phone calls came from someone who just called and said, you said it's February, what? Yeah, okay. Did it. Mobile money. Did it. Then a group of friends that came out of my Rotary network, the social capital, formed their own WhatsApp group. I was not there. Just one day someone called and said, so we have a WhatsApp group, we've been raising money. I think so far I have like 5 million. Can I just send you that for now? Thank you. For now, as we continue. So we're able to raise that money from just social capital. Without hustling people, without what, because they now know if it's Barbara's, it's ours as well.
Yeah.
One of them actually called me and said, my dear, if this event flops and it doesn't meet the standards of people, we go down with you. He said, yes, because people know we are your friends. So we are all going down at the same time. Now it's our responsibility to make sure that we raise this money make this happen. A few days too, he called and said, do we have all our money? Do we need to sit
Taking
down,
responsibility.
just the three, or yeah, like do we need to sit down 3 or 4 people and see where we're going to get more money from? I'm like, I got this.
Yeah.
So for me, that's really my most recent.
That's a lovely one.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I just thought of something when you were sharing that story. And I think we talked about it. Your network is your net worth. So sorry for going back, but I must confess, like when it was coming to your Kwanjula, so usually when Brian and I, like, I don't even know if I should be saying this, but anyway, when Brian and I, like someone has a wedding, whatever, we do discuss and say, how much are we going to send? How much should we send this? When your name came up, Brian was like, Nanga. Oh, that one, we need to go to the ATM.
Mobile money wants to know. Jimana, how much do you have? 50K, even if 50, let's add that.
Yeah. I was like, seriously? It was like, so it goes to show you that, like when it's Barbara's Kwanjula,
You have to please write the check.
You're not sending small change. Because I was like, oh my God, like how can someone command so much financial mobilization just by who she is?
Yeah.
Like, how do you send Barbara for 100K? What is she going to do with it? Transport to her? Like,
I actually don't remember anybody who gave me 100K.
I can attest that
You saw the budget.
I didn't see the budget, but I can attest because of the kind of person that she is. So in this whole network, how you carry yourself, I think is also extremely important. I can't be there and I say, oh, Barbara, I'm so broke. I would rather not send her.
Yeah.
At all and say I'm broke, it's not coming, than to send 100K. You'll be looking at Barbara as if she's going to receive it like, okay, let me send to.
So you just
Were you supposed to send
like,
was it a bill?
yeah, but then also speaking of that command, social capital is an investment.
Right.
We don't just look at it for what we can get out of it.
Absolutely.
By the time people see something happening for you, an event, and go aside, organize themselves, have consistent conversations.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
But their issue is, how do we raise money? This is happening for our friend.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, for some of them who were part of that group, they didn't even come. They had other events happening that day, family events, they're out of town. But it was important for them to send money.
Right.
So what kind of investments do we need to make to grow social capital to that level?
May I just see the contributions I've been receiving from friends? What? Let me just delete a few contacts now. I've just deleted a few.
So it's like a bank. You have to invest.
I like that, a bank.
To be able to walk with your ATM and withdraw. There's got to be money there.
Yeah.
Yes, you're not going to withdraw from where you've not put.
Yeah.
Yes.
But somebody also says, a friend of mine who's not married, she says, Beverly, if I don't buy a birthday cake for myself, why should I expect my friends to do it? The way you treat yourself is the way. She takes herself out so much. She drives a huge, fabulous car, takes herself out to the beach, shares photos, she travels when she can. She says, I have to look after myself. Why would I want a man to look after me and give me something I can't enjoy on my own?
But you see, on her birthday, you cannot send her a bang of 15K inside the card.
Remember inside the card?
I mean, 15K doesn't have a box. You put it inside the card and send it. You can't for someone like that.
No, but she said it, and what she meant is, don't expect someone to rescue you. You know, we always expect other people. In other words, you may go into a social network expecting others to give you what you're not able to invest in yourself. Let them see you started investing in yourself before they give you. I think it's easier when people contribute towards a wedding where they know, oh, but we can see the consistency with this couple. They have already raised a certain amount. I was told before the wedding, always tick gown, what, don't expect people to buy gown. But that was mine in 2007.
Sincerely.
Mine was 2007, but that was someone said, even if it's not there, Beverly, take those first things. People should not pay for your husband's suit, should not pay for your gown, should not pay
for the church.
I think church, but those are the first items, right?
Yes,
let them pay for venue.
Food because they're like, I'm going
because
to eat.
yes, but in other words, your social network, let them see that you're invested in yourself
as well.
Yeah, oh, that's
so
a
that they
good
can
one.
invest.
You reminded me of the gentleman who was sharing, a gentleman who was sharing with us, saying, you know, Brian, I would like to invite you guys for my what's that event before the Kwanjula? The Kuchala.
Kuchala.
Oh yeah,
Of course, Brian and I are just like, but we are not like that.
we're not close like that.
We're not
That
close.
thing is like siblings.
It's so siblings,
Yes,
it's family.
Not even all siblings.
Us, we are like, how come you're inviting us to the Kuchala? Only later to realize that he hadn't paid dowry. So, Brian said a statement to that effect.
Yes.
If you've not paid the dowry for the wife you want to marry, how can we assist you
Yes.
to have a wedding?
That's a very basic
That's
thing.
such a basic
At
thing
least
as a
pay to get her out.
Pay to get her
Yes.
out. But you even find now women are helping men
Yes.
to pay dowry for them.
Yes.
And you just want to say, no, darling, no. When he can go work,
When he's able.
when he's able to pay dowry, then let him go. Like, he might not afford his suit. He might not afford anything. He just
A lavish party.
He might not
but
afford a
let's
lavish
do
party.
the basic cultural.
like the basic cultural
requirements.
requirement
Yeah.
for your parents to let him. If they're the ones who say, I don't need anything for my daughter, yeah, absolutely, lucky you. But if your parents say, I need A, B, C, and D, he should be in a place to work towards that. Except for the extravagant parents, there are some who,
Oh yeah.
those are not the ones we are
who
talking
have a
about.
list
Whoever.
within reason.
Yeah.
I like to say culture used to ask for cows. You know,
Yes.
why are you asking for a car
And chairs.
and a tank?
water tank.
You saw that picture on social media. Yes. Why are you asking? No, honestly.
Yeah.
Culture.
A water
It's
tank
a
is
culture
new.
event. Let's do
I
it
know,
culturally.
yes.
Let's ask for cows and please let's walk away with the cows.
With the-
You know,
yeah.
Without looking like
Yeah.
extortions.
Okay.
But
People do extort.
they actually
do.
do. They
Yeah.
take advantage.
Those are
But
not
you
the
see,
ones we are talking
the challenge
about.
with
Yeah.
extorting is that you're sending your daughter to someone you've left a bitter taste in the
Yes.
mouth with.
Yeah.
Do you care how they're going to treat her?
Also
You
treat
know.
you even. They'll say,
Even
no more,
you.
we're not going to visit your in-laws anymore. I had
I'm not obliged to even send you anything, any
When
help
they need
after that.
help, yeah.
Because you squeezed
was
everything
that?
I had out of me. What was that? So the relationship is also not good after that.
Yeah.
But speaking in terms of investment, there are two. There's resources, which is money and everything, but then there's also time.
like that time.
Somebody has lost a relative.
Oh yeah.
Can you drive all the way to their home, you know, a close relative for burial? Somebody has an event at home and they invite you. There are times you go to events and honestly you would rather spend the day at home. But because you must invest in this friendship, you will go for the event. There are times somebody calls you and they have an emergency and you run to their rescue, you know. Those are the non-monetary investments that we make. When it's your turn, then you can withdraw from that bank account, you see. Then there's finances. Somebody's getting married. Somebody has a child getting married. Somebody has a relative. Somebody has an emergency and they need to rush for medical treatment. Then you give money.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of investments you make to just make sure that your social capital is solidified.
Yeah.
It's not, you're not just
so
here
good.
to benefit.
Yes.
You're here to invest so that later on
Yeah.
you can withdraw from that same one. And back to the farming thing, you're not just here to hunt.
Yeah.
You're growing a relationship
Yeah.
and you're hunting. Remember,
Watering it well.
watering it well. There's a time we had a shoot and Manuela had to go for burial. Her friend had lost, I think, a brother, and she was jittery. I don't know. I don't know how that show anyway finally came out because, guys, we need to hurry. I need to go. My friend lost her brother. Guys, you understand
Yeah.
that she felt my friend cannot go through this
Yeah.
without me by her side. And I remember asking that, but she has family members, she has friends, and Manuela said she will notice my absence.
Yeah.
She will feel my
absence,
absence.
yeah.
Those kind of investments are what build social capital.
Yeah.
It's so important.
It is.
It is important.
It's so important.
Yeah.
And also, that thing is so, you know, when you're in your lowest moments is when you know the people who are there for you. And she's also that kind of friend, also I must say, who has invested just as much. Like my grandmother passed away, all the way in Bara. She went with the advanced team advanced team.
Meaning the ones who set up the tents.
Thank you.
Polished.
As we are
Is
here,
it
oh my
ready?
God, we are collecting ourselves. She went in the advanced team, and I don't know how.
Yeah.
How, you know? Yeah. For me, the investment that I know is a technical investment, which is, especially professionally and work, where I'll give you, for example, personally, when let's say Beverly, I'm trying to invest in Beverly. If Beverly tells me, oh, I do professional public speaking,
Yes.
what do I have? I have a platform. Come.
Also technical exchange.
Yes, technical
All right.
exchange.
Yes.
Where what they don't have that I
give.
have
Yeah.
professionally,
Yes.
I give them.
So
I'm
you
like,
fill the gap. Everyone fills the gap.
everyone
Yes,
fills the
that's-
gap because I also know when I need a book edited,
Yeah.
we just
can go
say
back.
we do an exchange
swap.
program. We do an exchange
Cultural
program.
exchange.
Yeah, kind of like that. For me, that's what I see.
That's a good
because
one.
you find that each of you have different skill sets.
Yes.
And that are easy and don't, for lack of a better word, don't cost you. Yeah, they do
Yes.
cost you, but they don't cost you like that.
Yes.
And that you can actually,
You can have
you can
exchange.
exchange.
Barter
You can
exchange.
barter or
Yes.
exchange. And I think that's a great investment because then they can use you, especially if you're really good at what you do. They can benefit from your technical
Yes.
expertise and you can give them the same. I'm good at talking with people, right? If you tell me you're a lawyer and you're my friend and I hear someone has a case, I'm like, friend, here is a
Yes,
case.
then
There's
you
no
give
other lawyer in
business
the
referrals
world
as
giving
well.
business referrals.
Yeah.
That one I'm really, I think it's a very, it's an investment people don't think about, but I think it's an important one because someone will always say, my business. Most of my business actually is from Barbara.
Yes.
Most of my business is from Beverly.
Yeah.
My business is from Bump Love.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, those
Of
things
course.
they do.
Do you think sometimes we abuse social networks?
Absolutely.
When you talked about it, there is someone, for him, he wants to be in every possible networking opportunity in Uganda because it's like, it's important to network, but he's always frazzled. Like, oh my goodness, distraught because he's waiting for the next meeting. He's here, he's not here, present, and then
So
everywhere
he's not
only getting a bit.
productive.
He's not. I tell people you can be busy and unproductive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Activity is not productivity.
Yes.
And therefore he goes wide, not deep. I believe in going deep. Don't choose 20, choose 2 and go deep.
Yes.
Go deep, such that when you nurture, let people find you so busy, they'll just come flocking to see who is this person.
Yes.
Who is, let them be attracted to you because of the excellence of your skill.
Yeah.
Don't
overdo.
Please.
Not every network is
Not
for
every
everyone,
network-
by
everyone
the
with that-
way.
yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you have to know, some people don't know,
Yeah.
because it may be a good network, maybe it's not for you.
Yeah.
It could be seasonal or it could just not be for you, and that's fine.
Yes.
But we think every good thing, we're not discerning enough
No.
to realize not every good thing is, otherwise
for
we'll be
you.
everywhere. We'll go
Yeah.
to every good school, not
Yeah.
every good school. We'll take our children everywhere because we'll go holiday everywhere. How about this? No.
Yeah.
Be discerning enough. Again, that takes time and practice and knowing, but some people abuse. My goodness, they want to be everywhere thinking the more I scatter, the more, oh
The
my
more they
goodness.
want. I like
Yes.
what Manuela said about exchanging and technical
Yes.
support. You know that thing of how for everybody who started a business, they don't get much support from their friends.
Yeah.
Their customers are usually strangers or, you know,
By the way, people say that.
second level friends, not first. But can we be those friends that support other people's business? I like to, if you have a shop, I'll walk in, even if I buy a pair of earrings, but I'm going to leave
Yes.
some money in your shop.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you have a factory and you make city shoe, I'm going to walk in and buy at least, one
Like
carton.
that,
You're going to spend that money anyway. Can
Yeah.
you spend it on
On
your
someone.
friend? On someone you'll be able to call up when you need help. Not a stranger's shop where they don't even know your name.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. By the way, guys, don't be deceived. We have stopped this show multiple times because of the baby that's crying. You might be there like, but these guys, don't they hear baby crying?
They don't
Trust
care.
me, we've cut like almost every time we've had to answer. The baby, she's being taken care of. Don't worry, no one is beating her. No one is. Yeah, she's having an episode. So I hope you can manage. But she's, I won't say she's okay, but she's crying, so she can be okay.
Okay.
But let's just say
The situation is under control.
Under control.
wonderful. Her situation is under control. I just thought I should mention that. Yes, I do believe people do abuse social networks. Yeah. And I think I was sliding into that one. And the way I was abusing it was I thought that every answer for all my questions was in my social networks. Yeah. If I need money, this is right. If I need social network, if I need who in my one day like this, I was praying. And I was like, Lord, this one in this organization, plus this one, also this one. Lord, speak to them. May they not wake up and they've not dreamt of me. Whoa. You know those things of it? Cause him to think of me, that cause them to remember me. And God told me no. Because I'd been asking all this time, but I'm not getting any answers until God said no. And I'm like, but why? And then he tells me, because when the thing comes through, it will be because of them and not because of me.
Yes. Oh, that's a good
Until
lesson.
you take your eye away from everybody else, I will cause, because he works through men. I will cause those men to think, but you're not the one who comes to tell me how to do my job to get people to.
Yeah.
I want that when they go, when you get help, you're like, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Lord. It could have only been you. Because even the person that I'm telling you, and I've gotten into big, huge organizations in this country, from people at the lowest levels. Do you know, like, they don't know me, I don't know them, but unlike where you're talking to the ED or the CEO or whoever, who then these ones just love you because you're genuinely who you are. And they speak for you from one meeting to the next meeting to the next meeting. In that, when they come and say, oh, by the way, you got the job. I'm like, thank you, Lord.
Yes.
Thank you, Lord, because I would not have...
Because there, you know, it's only God who
could
could have
it have only been God. But if it's because of my network, I know the CEO of, I know the deputy who, I know that I would never ever look up to God. So for me, I did find a time that I was abusing it, and God stopped me. So right now, when I come to have relationships, I genuinely come to have relationships with you with no thought of what you could do for me, knowing full well that God will use somebody else altogether.
The list of person you expect.
Of the people that I ever expected would be the person that would come and say, oh, actually, I was thinking of you. So it's
great.
It's amazing.
I love that.
Amazing. Manuela, you're a farmer.
I wasn't before.
Yeah, you are
I was a hunter because I was like, what can I get out? Like, I need help. My business needs help. And because also that's how we were taught.
Oh, that's what
shoot
your shot.
You shoot your shot. You only have a few minutes. What's your 1 minute
presentation?
Elevator pitch. Elevator pitch.
Elevator pitch.
My elevator pitch was on my mouth like this all the time.
Yes.
And I don't feel like I ever got anything out of it. My most help has come from people who absolutely love bump love. Actually, all bump lovers that have given me business. How can I hug you? Should we have a meet and greet? Let me know.
Thank you, Farmer Manuela. Thank you, Farmer Bev.
Yeah.
I like the fact that every time we meet to talk and discuss issues, we learn. I've learned a lot from today.
Me too.
And I think going forward, my relationships, social relationships, I'm going to be better, a better person.
Yes.
But also remember that it's not really about the networks, it's God at the end of the day. Share with us, are you part of a social network? Who is your social capital? What's your story? What have you learned? What have you benefited? But also share some tips with us, how we can make ours better, and certainly we shall read. Ladies, back to the GLAM team this week. You look beautiful.
Thank you.
You look
Zuri. Tina brows, and of course, Cadia fashions.
Fashions. Bev, I missed the afro. But I love the hair.
Thank you.
I'm going to go in the comment section myself today. Bev, we missed the afro. I'm not going to let the people say it first before. Let me also express
You be
myself.
first one here.
But I must say you look 10 years younger.
Thank you.
The face is fresher. You actually look nice.
Thank you.
And you
I
look like
liked it.
how many kilos that you've lost?
I look like the kilos I've lost.
Yeah.
There were 2. Are they more now?
Oh yes, they are. Now the clothes say. The clothes depict for me.
Come on now.
I don't.
You're looking like it, darling.
You're looking like
using
it.
weighing scales still. No, change your social
Clothes.
network.
So tell us.
Glitter girls. Social media, I said I need earrings, hoops, large. They brought within 30 minutes. It was quite incredible. I really wanted, look, because of the haircut, I wanted extra
something to make up for it.
huge earrings. This is Arija Fashions. And my hair is a wonderful person called, wait, his name wasn't Caleb. Ask him, what's your name? I said, is it Caleb? Now the name has skipped. Caleb stuck because I misheard.
Oh, it's Caleb.
No,
Caleb.
no, there was
Caleb.
Cole. There was a Cole somewhere.
Colin.
Maybe Joseph. But he says that he's cut the vice president of the country, ministers, they come to him. Many live around that area.
That's fine. His
So I
social
was cut
capital is
by
strong.
Thank you.
yes,
Yes.
I was really impressed. He didn't even have to
Do you know
oversell.
those people have some of the strongest
Strongest
capital,
Because
social
they
capital?
cater for the things that matter
Yes.
to women
Yes.
and men
Yes,
as well.
and they do it well.
And they do it
And
well.
And they're not some people familiarize
Yes.
when they feel those people in positions. He doesn't.
Sometimes they're even counselors.
Yeah.
As they're
Such a
doing
good
your hair, you're
point.
telling them, do you know what happened to me this week? And they're good listeners.
Yes,
So yes,
that is
they
so
have
true.
good
And
social
sometimes you
capital.
need that because in the evening
Yeah.
after work,
Yeah.
he was so good with the hair, and I'm going to go back. He explained to me what we're going to do with it, and I'm going to go back. The journey has begun. He's really a farmer. Oh my goodness.
He's got you.
He's such a farmer.
got you.
My.
My hair and makeup today was done by the beautiful Vicky of Viluxe Hair and Beauty Salon. The dress by David Kabenge. The jewelry by the Essence Store. Hi Sheila. Friends, thank you so much for watching and come watching till the end of the show. You didn't drop off at 10 minutes, at 30. I mean, that's really important.
Yeah.
Yes, and for those who were the first and then have watched till the end.
Thank you.
We greet you, we appreciate you.
Yeah.
So till next week.
Bye. Thanks so much, everyone.